gap. The three men still out front.
Into Ilkley they come. The Moor is ahead of the riders. We'll be skirting it now. These are the three leaders. They're still clear of the field. About 2 minutes 20 seconds is the gap. They're working well. But the fact that the sprinters teams are not allowing them to run too far ahead tells me that they're afraid of this course today.
Well, they are. It's a difficult course. That's an important thing, I think, about the first 2 days of racing anyway, Phil. If a breakaway gets clear and well established, these kind of roads through Yorkshire and Derbyshire over the first couple of days of racing, they're difficult roads to get a chase organised, which is why they don't want a breakaway to get too much of an advantage. I always think about the big breakaway that succeeded on the first day of the Tour de France back in Futuroscope a number of years ago. Everyone thought the breakaway would get caught and finished with a good 10 minutes lead over the peloton. It took them right down to the final weekend of racing to pull them all back again.
Just homing in here with the cameras on Mark Cavendish, just out of sight to the right of our picture here. There he is with the turquoise helmet on. He'll be enjoying the day today. We'll be down to him at the finish.
Yes, spotting Cavendish there was easier last year because he was wearing the white jersey with the red, white, blue around the middle of the national champion. But this year he decided not to participate in the national championship. So he did say that he had a little bit of a chest infection, but I think he wanted to make sure that everything was right for his preparation for the opening stage of the Tour de France. Now, if you want to come to this part of Ilkley Moor, there you get a chance to see the Cow and Calf rocks. They stand at 244 metres. According to legend, there was a wife who got very, very angry with the giant Rumble. In fact, she sat on top of one of these rocks and they split apart. In fact, my kids went to climb up those just the other day and they had a great time.
Yes, and dare I say it, there's a very nice pub at the top there as well, and it wouldn't be Yorkshire without a nice pub on top of a hill in the middle of nowhere. As we're looking down here now on the Cow and Calf, it also often plays as a major climb in races like the British events and the Tour of Britain. But it is a lovely area on a day like today, of course. We're now getting the advantage of seeing it. If we'd have tried to show these pictures just 24 hours ago, I don't think we'd have seen them because of the low mist and cloud that blew in and the heavy rain that ensued. Looking down on the town of Ilkley from the top of the climb, and Otley also around to the right as well. But we're going out into the more exposed land now in the far north as we head towards Leyburn and Aysgarth. And I know I saw cyclists leading Harrogate very early this morning, pedalling out to Aysgarth to watch the riders pass through there. It's just going to be a sensational tour for the whole day for these guys.
Well, it will be. It'll be a noise, the tunnel of noise the riders have to ride through throughout the whole of the day. And in the middle of plenty of these towns, to keep it nice and safe for the riders, they've got the barriers to the side to keep the crowds back. Very much, as you can see there, nice train going through the middle there. I'm surprised you haven't got down there to take the number, Phil, as we go through Ilkley.
I missed that. That was part of the Keighley railway line down there.
Well, looking down here at Ilkley, Ilkley is a spa town, like many of the spa towns that popped up during...
Look at that, both the flags the right way round. Those people know that flag.
Excellent. As I was saying, the Victorian era is when Ilkley really rose to prominence. And by the way, it hosts the third oldest golf club in Yorkshire, which was founded in 1890.
Well, I tell you what, you won't see crowds any bigger than this once we return to France on overnight Monday. This will probably be, by the end of the tour, the biggest crowd we'll see all the way around. The British people here, and the Yorks in particular, done well.
Yes, there's a very famous literary festival here in Ilkley as well, and one of the biggest in the northern part of England. Many films have been filmed in this part of the world, including a private function, which was featured in the Cannes Film Festival. Looking here at Andrew Jelansky now, this is a young rider, 25 years of age, number 91, a big favourite there for Garmin Sharp, who finished first in the recent Criterium du Dauphiné. It could very well be a man who could podium here at the Tour de France, but certainly he'll be looking at a crack at trying to finish inside of the top 10. Finished in the top 10 before, he did that just last year. 168 is Jens Voigt, 42 years of age. He is participating in his last Tour de France. And for Jens Voigt, it'll be his farewell to cycling this year. Cycling is professional. He turned professional way back in 1996, and he's been a great athlete over all those years. He's participating this year in his 17th Tour. The first one for Jens Voigt was back in 1998, and that Tour de France started in Dublin. He also held the King of the Mountains jersey that year. The crowds here, this is quite amazing to see the crowds that have turned out, and we're still looking at 100 miles to go to the finish, 167 kilometers. And Omega Pharma, Quickstep, Giant Shimano and Lotto are very, very keen to do all of this pacemaking right at the front end of the main field. They don't want the breakaway to get too clear. I mean, the crowds are amazing, and you can hear the noise from the side of the road. The early part of this race, as the riders leaving famous cycling towns behind them, Offaly, Ilkley, heading now down towards Skipton will be the next big town on the horizon, and everybody here just wanting to be a part of the Tour de France coming by. They've seen the Tour go by very, very quickly at the moment, but all of the excitement starts a good 2 hours before the actual race proper comes into town, with the publicity caravan, which starts between an hour and a half ahead of the race. Supplying all of the wares that the major sponsors of the Tour de France. An event during the late 70s and early 80s was actually on the verge of passing away. It was difficult to get 9 or 10 teams to participate. And then came along Jean-Marie Leblanc, and he really was responsible for the renaissance of the sport, and pushed the start of the Tour de France right the way back up where now they have a hard time. In fact, they have to put in place rules to limit the number of riders and the number of teams that can participate in this great annual sporting event. You can see the fluorescent yellow there of Alberto Contador's team, where they're sitting right behind the black and blue jerseys of Team Sky. That is a big psychological battle that is going to go on for the next 3 weeks of this bike race, which very much, we believe, a duel between